Hey guys, what's going on? PLANB here, and today I have 10 vehicles that should return from GTA 4 into GTA 5. And recently I've been playing GTA 4 on the PC because last week I think, or maybe a week or two ago, GTA 5 came out on PC, and I don't really have the desire to get it because there's nothing new in the game itself. But I've been playing on GTA 4 on the PC, and I've been seeing some cars that that aren't in that didn't come from GTA 4 into GTA 5, and I thought that I would make a video going over the vehicles that I would like to see come into GTA 5. And actually, 3 of the vehicles, which I'll save the specific 3 for the last, because there's been some information about them, kinda. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and get into the vehicles. I'm gonna mention this one. I have 11 vehicles here. I'm gonna mention one as a honorable mention, I guess you could say. And it's the Albany Buccaneer. It's not like not all these cars that I've got here aren't like sporty, or like they're all, just different types of vehicles. I think only one of them is actually a sports car, but they're just they're vehicles. I think they're like the majority of these are vehicles that didn't come from GTA 4 into GTA 5, because other than these 11, I think the most of the other cars that are in the game either weren't very nice cars or they did come into GTA 5. But the Albany Buccaneer is, I'm not too sure what type of vehicle this is. It might be a sedan or a coupe or something, because it doesn't tell you what type of car it is in GTA 4. But it's just or it could be a muscle car, actually, I don't know, but it's a 2-door. It's a decent looking car. I don't know if it would be, if it came in a DLC, I would probably be one of the last ones I would buy, just because it's not sporty, but it's it's different. And at number 10 we have the Albany Esperano, and this was a vehicle that was used by Roman. This was his taxi. This isn't the specific one. His was called Roman's Taxi, which it's the same car. But just like the Buccaneer, it's it's not a sports car or anything. It's just it's different, and it's one of the, I personally enjoyed driving it sometimes. I mean, of course, it's not fast or anything, but was one of my favorite cars in GTA 4. And it's obviously has 4 doors, and it would be adding it to GTA 5 and having customization options in Los Santos Customs would be pretty awesome. And coming in up next, we have the Albany Presidente, and I think that this is supposed to be like a Cadillac, because that's what it reminds me of from when you look at the back end of it. But a lot of these are Albany car brands. See, and I think in GTA 5 actually there is the Alpha is supposed to be a sport, it looks like a sporty Cadillac. But anyway, this is also a nice car, 4 doors, would look nice with some customizations. Coming in at number 8 we have the Dundreary Virgo, and this was a vehicle used by little Jacob mostly. I mean, of course you see it driving around the streets, but it's a nice classic type car, similar to the Manana, I think. And it's a car I'd like to see come into GTA 5. Probably not one that I would buy right away, but it would be a nice car to have. Coming up next we have the Enus Cognoscenti, and in GTA 5 I believe there are only 2 other cars under this car brand, and one of them is the Cabrio. I think that's all it's called, is a Cabrio. It looks very similar to this, but it's only 2 doors and it's a convertible. And this was used by the mob, I think, in GTA 4. I mean, it's a nice, luxurious car. Be neat to add some customizations to it. I think it's very similar to the Cabrio in GTA 5. Up next, we have the Shyster PMP 600. And this was one of my favorite cars, mainly because it looked similar to the Buffalo, the Bravado Buffalo. And in GTA 4, the Buffalo wasn't in in the just standard GTA 4, but it was in the DLCs, the Ballad of Gay Tony and Lost and Damned. But it's a nice four-door car. It's sporty looking, and would look nice with some customizations on it. Coming in at number 5, we have the Vapid Contender, and this is a nice sporty looking truck. You don't see really anything similar to this in GTA 5, and it's got the covered back, and it's 2 doors. It's probably would have some nice looking customizations on it, just because of how sporty it already is. And I didn't really drive this around much, but it was one of the cars that hasn't made it from GTA 4 into GTA 5, and it's got a nice basic look to it. Coming in at number 4, we have the Vapid Huntley, and there is actually a variant of the Huntley in GTA 5, but it's under a different car manufacturer name. It's under Enos, and I thought it was weird that they would change like that. Like it's Vapid here, and it would change unless it's was a mistake that they made. But I'd like to see this one come in. The other one is, I believe, just called the Huntley S, so it's a sportier version. So it'd be nice to see just the standard one come in as well. Okay, now we just have the top 3 left, and the reason I wanted to save these specific 3 for last is because some news came up. I don't know if it was a leak or something. I watched a video by Mr. Boss for the Win the other day, and he was talking about there were 3 vehicles that somebody found interior textures and stuff like that for in the PC game files, I think, or something like that. But at number 3 here we have the Cavalcade FXT, and I believe, and Mr. Boss for the Win mentioned this vehicle. He didn't mention the FXT part, but he mentioned a Army variant, which he showed a picture of the vehicle of this version from GTA 4, and it's like a truck version of the Cavalcade. The front's pushed, the back end of it's pushed back, and then it's got the back wherever you would store stuff. And I'll put a link to his video on screen just to, if you want to check it out. But this is a variant of the Cavalcade I'd really like to see. There are already 2 variants in the game. There's not really much difference between the 2 in the game already, so this would be nice to see this version in there as well. Coming up at number 2, we have the Bravado Feroce, and Mr. Boss mentioned this in his video as well. And this is a nice 4-door sedan, similar to the Sultan, which is like I think it's the fastest regular sports car, or whatever category it is. And I think this would look really nice with some upgrades from the Los Santos Customs. And it looks really nice, kind of blacked out. It'll probably look a little bit nicer with a matte paint job. But most of these cars spawn with dark colors. I don't know why, but that's number 2. And finally, at number 1, we have the Dubachi Super GT, and this was also mentioned in Mr. Boss's video. This is I didn't really care for the Super GT very much because it seemed to slip around a lot, but it would be a nice car to see in GTA 5, and adding some customizations to it as well. But it is a nice looking sports car. That's going to wrap up this top 10, if you want to call it that. It wasn't really in any specific order. But I've been playing GTA 4 more, and I saw some cars that I wish that would be in GTA 5. And I thought it was funny that after I decided I was going to make this video, I heard some news on 3 of these 11 cars where there would be a possibility of them being added. So anyway, thank you very much for watching, guys. Check out one of the other 2 videos on screen if you haven't seen yet, and I will see you in the next video.